The 2024 Crescent City Cup had no shortage of amazing live stream Scrabble games, and I was glued to my seat watching the coverage. There was one game that stood out as an instant classic, the round 10 game between multi-time North American champion Dave Wiegand and world championship runner-up Chris Lipe. It was an incredible back-and-forth slugfest with an absolutely stunning ending, so let's get right into it. Chris opens the game with his best move of Fjord. Dave can answer with Axiom, but it allows easy responses paralleling the X, so he instead sacrifices 1 point to play Mix, leaving Chris with weak scoring options and retaining the valuable A to improve his chances of landing a bingo to the D of Fjord. Chris draws the ugly WU combo and immediately dumps it with Wud, easily his best move. Dave draws 2 more E's and faces a difficult choice. With only low-scoring plays available, Dave opts to play Remix for 19 points, his highest-scoring move. Although his leave has an extra vowel and he's opening up a triple to Chris, he has deceptively strong odds to bingo next turn with the R and D of Fjord still open. Chris answers with by far his best move of Ratfink for 45, a beautiful play, while Dave draws the first blank. With bingos like Levend available, Dave finds his only 77-point bingo and sealed to take a small lead. Holding 3 L's, Chris dumps 2 of them with a solid response of Zillas. Dave next draws 5 vowels and only 2 consonants, and he's forced to burn them both with his top move of Piet for 33. For the second time, Chris has the ugly WU combination, and here he makes a small oversight, playing Rap for 27. This is a solid move, but there's a sneaky option here that's even better. Woosha, hooking the U to Voodoo for 38 points and shedding both of those ugly letters at once. Dave draws some consonants to balance his vowel-heavy leave. He has no bingos here, and the board isn't that open, so he decides to play Koha, opening up some new bingo lines. While Chris already had Glarius available and ready to play for 68, the new opening gives him Regulos for 14 additional points. And to make matters worse for Dave, the Q comes just in time to stop him both from bingoing and from effectively using the triple word score, as he's forced to play Cheese for just 22. Chris faces vowel trouble after his bingo, and with plays like I available, he instead opts to pump his score up further with Yo for 31. I does have some defensive merit to deny Dave a potential lucrative overlap. Case in point, Dave draws the J and hammers the spot with Jeton for 55. Joe for 42 was available as well, keeping slightly better bingo tiles, but 13 points is way too much to pass up. Chris dumps his excess vowels, wisely selecting EE for 13, which nets him a bingo about 10% more often than OE in the same spot. With the game hanging in the balance, Dave draws 5 more consonants. He can play Bit for 16, leaving his only vowel, but he correctly opts to play Bidents, scoring significantly better and reaching further into the bag for that second blank. Chris answers with an excellent find of Homages for 52, surging into the lead. Without a bingo, Dave will be in trouble here. Although his tiles look ugly, he still manages to get one down. Boycotts for 69, retaking the lead. With a draw of duplicated A's and I's, now it's Chris who seems to be in deep trouble. And just like Dave, he turns his lemons into lemonade with the gorgeous find of Arancini for 70, taking the lead right back. Dave gets some hope in the form of the all-important second blank, but it's accompanied by the atrocious UUV combination. With just 1 tile remaining in the bag and facing a 34-point deficit with no good way to score, Dave has to figure out a way to bingo. On this board, there are 2 obvious spots where a bingo can play, the E of Unsealed and the column alongside Boycotts. But there's another extremely important spot that Dave needs to consider, the N of Arancini. Not only can Dave end bingos with that N, he can potentially play 9-letter words through the N and the O, perhaps ending in OUS, a potentially perfect combination for his 2 U's. And Dave is one of the few players in the world who actually knows and can find words like this. Dave needs to seriously consider playing off his V in the only spot he can, Avo, for 6 points. Dave has 7 unique tiles to evaluate. For a tile draw to be successful for him here, it needs to give Dave bingos in multiple locations that can't both be blocked. For example, drawing an N will allow Dave to play uniques alongside boycotts as well as ingenuous through the N and O. Drawing the G will also allow Dave to play ingenuous. Problem is, that would be his only bingo, allowing Chris to block that spot and easily win the game. Amazingly, drawing the P also leads to a win for Dave, giving him the insane combination of euphuize up top and pecunious down low. Similarly, drawing the R gives him usuries in one spot and the stunning rubinius in the other. It's a good start, but none of the A, D, or V yield bingos, giving Dave a success rate of 3 tiles out of 8 after playing his V. The other logical choice Dave needs to look at here is playing off one of his 2 U's. The G would give him no bingos at all, and the P and A give him bingos in only one spot, which isn't good enough. But a D draw yields delusive and up dives, while an N yields universe and unlives, and the R yields universe again and virtues. Unfortunately, the final tile to check is the V, and with a V and U already on Dave's rack, it certainly looks like a losing draw. To put this into context, there are well over 3,000 3-tile combinations in Scrabble. And after analyzing literally millions of AI versus AI games, we've gained an understanding of which combinations lead to good outcomes and which don't. UUV and UVV are both right at the bottom of the list. Drawing UUV is almost always a kiss of death, and typically changing that to UVV does absolutely nothing to improve your winning chances. But in this particular case, drawing a V allows Dave to play lovies alongside boycotts, and even more importantly, Vesuvian to the N, representing a 4th winning tile for him and making playing the U slightly better than playing the V. There is one more thing to consider here, though. Playing the U alongside boycotts is tempting to create yet another bingo lane. But if the V is in the bag, Chris will, by definition, have Grandpa on his rack, and opening that new lane would represent a fatal mistake. So, what happens next? Dave plays cut for 5 points, playing off his U and avoiding opening a new lane that may benefit Chris. It turns out the final tile in the bag is in fact a V, so Dave's brilliant choice saves him the game. Chris does block lovies, but Dave finds Vesuvian to secure a thrilling win and a masterclass in pre-endgame precision. The man they call Dr. Bing went on to win the Crescent City Cup's Collins division, a feat which he has accomplished 5 times since the event's inception. It's just one more impressive accolade for one of North America's finest players, and one more example of why he's such a thrilling player to watch.